All Canadians need to take an active role in reaching truth and reconciliation in this country. A new book titled 52 Ways to Reconcile: How to Walk with Indigenous Peoples on the Path to Healing is now out with easy-to-follow tips and steps to take towards reaching reconciliation. This new book has been written by award-winning Manitoba author David A. Robertson. Author David A. Robertson joins us now. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
It feels like you were just here. Congratulations on another new book.
Thank you very much. I probably was just here a little bit ago.
Yeah, with Little Monsters.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about what inspired this book.
Well, it's just something I've been talking about for the last 15, 16 years of my career, really. My career has been centered around reconciliation. And there came a point where I felt like it was time to put something down on paper that I could reach a wider audience with. That would be more solid, that people could read whenever they wanted, and give them a bit of direction. Because I think that's what I've been doing for the last several years, is trying to give direction. And this book does that in a really, I think, solid way.
And it's 52 ways. So there are 52, weeks in, how does this work? 52 weeks in a year?
Yeah.
So a week you could do. Every week you could do one little thing that'll make a real difference, right? Yeah,
and it's like a choose your own adventure. So you can really open it wherever you want and choose any action at any week. So it's not like tied to one week. There's a few that are tied to certain weeks, like the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, but you want to start a book club with an Indigenous book, you don't have to do that in week 1, you can do that in week 33 if you want. So it's really user-friendly.
Okay.
It's a really inviting guide for anybody to have simple steps that they can do to walk this path towards reconciliation. I think it's something that will probably be motivating for people.
There's a lot of different things we can do in terms of supporting Indigenous businesses, for example, is one of those. What else can we do?
Well, there's some from very fun things, simple things like reading a book, watching a television show. I mentioned Reservation Dogs in it. Listening to music, maybe by a guy named William Prince, or some more complex things. So if you want to read the calls to action, or the summary of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada, those are things that we can do as well. So we try to make these kind of like these steps where you can go from something very simple and maybe fun, something that is a bit more involved, uses a bit more time. But they're all things that are doable in a week, and it's all stuff that I think is meaningful.
Why should we take these steps for reconciliation?
Well, I think that, we talk about residential schools, for example. That's not Indigenous history, it's Canadian history. So this is all this is a Canadian issue, Canadian history. And if you're Canadian, I feel like there is some accountability to what happened and what's happening now. It doesn't mean that anybody's responsible for it, or that we're trying to guilt anybody with that. But it does mean that we all have a role to play. And accepting that role is a great first step. Sometimes, though, it's hard to think of what we can do. A reconciliation can be intimidating. So this book is there to make it a little less intimidating, more inviting, and to give people a bit of a push towards things that they can do that are meaningful, taking into account that we all have a role to play, and that we need to accept that role.
And these are things you can do with your kids too, right? Yeah,
there's lots of stuff we can do as a family, with your kids, individually, and a lot of stuff in here that kids can do too, frankly. I mean, this is a book that I think will hopefully be used in middle grade, high schools, and by adults, parents, and teachers.
Okay, and where can people find this book?
I think hopefully anywhere you go you can find it, yeah. But I would always say support your local indie bookstore first.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing this with us again. Congratulations on the new book.
Thank you very much.